Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, y'all ain't ready for this one. Agent Prince, Ty Hart, get up on your feet and give praise to the Lord, y'all. Woo! I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. Dancing like David, once you play this song, you're free to celebrate, come and sing along. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. Reigns in the present and he reigned in the past. Let's go praise the Lord for the good and the bad. When the stress hit me heavy, got a two-step. At times I forget about the God that I rep. I'm grateful for the gift of music, cause of it I'm blessed. While I'm making these bangers, I put my pain to rest. I can't even stress enough how much I go through. God, I don't know where I be, I didn't know you. Still the devil giving me a hard time. When he knocking at my door, got an electric slide. To the Lord's side, cause it's where his joy will be. His grace is due every morning, so now I'm feeling free. Can't be focused on what I was, but what I could be. A changed soul, just seeking to live eternally. So go ahead, put on your favorite song and give praise to the Lord while you dance along. Don't care if you got two left feet. Celebrate what the Lord's done for you, cause it's just too sweet. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. Dancing like David, once you play this song, you're free to celebrate, come and sing along. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. Reigns in the present and he reigned in the past. Let's go praise the Lord through the good and the bad.
We soldiers in the checking off another mission, whoa. At the trenches, we climbed out of all the ditches, whoa. Put the work in, we ain't taking any breaks. Ain't no stopping on the way, living every day by faith, ayy. Used to be cool with a few, then they switched up. They don't know they gave me all this fuel to go fill up. Looking up, cause now I'm focused on the rise. Thanking God for my life through the lows and all the highs. I just wanna know that my life is covered like it's chilly on the road. Waves surrounding me, but right now I feel like I can flow. I know God is with me everywhere that I go. Holding me together all the times I've been broken. Yeah, I've seen a lot of doors that became open. Every word you spoke, I chose to put my hope in. So right now I do my dance, body in motion.
I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. Dancing like David, once you play this song, you're free to celebrate, come and sing along. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. Reigns in the present and he reigned in the past. Let's go praise the Lord through the good and the bad. In the air, yeah, in the air, in the air. Keep 'em up, keep 'em move to the left, if you feel it, praise the Lord. Move to the right, if you feel it, praise the Lord. Wild out now, wild out now, wild out now, wild out now. Go out with it, go out with it, go out with it. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. Dancing like David, once you play this song, you're free to celebrate, come and sing along. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. I'ma do my dance, lifting up the kingdom. Reigns in the present and he reigned in the past. Let's go praise the Lord through the good and the bad.
You know what? I'm sorry, y'all. I'm having a completely unscripted moment. I'm talking and thinking y'all hear me. So let me start all over again. You have tuned in to another episode of On the Move, Unscripted Ladies Roundtable Discussion. And yes, we are unscripted, and you just experienced a little bit of it. We come on every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Most times we do anyway. And we have great topics. Tonight we got a deep topic, like really, really deep. So, but before we get into topics, you know, I always like to find out how my girls is doing. So let me start with you, Missy. I've been saying your name and didn't even realize that you couldn't hear me. Oh, my gosh. How was your week?
All is well. I had a blessed week. I've been getting blessed for like the last couple weeks and everything, and I am actually feeling really good.
That's good. That's real good. That's real good. I'm glad that you had a great week. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's always a blessing. You know, that's always a blessing. Okay, all right. So let me slide on down here. I see the Queen Goddess, King Advocate on the line. What's going on, Kimberly Chance, Queen Goddess, the King Advocate?
Right. Yeah, I'm in the building. What's going on, Stars?
What's going on? How's your week been?
Busy, but it's a good busy. I've been in the lab making my products, girl. Now, look, real quick, adult talk. Okay, real quick, adult talk.
Okay.
I made a product. Let me turn that down. I made a product that is strictly for people who enjoy oral sex. When it got to be oral sex. It's like licking, okay? Licking, sucking, tasting, whatever. When I tell you that thing is delicious.
All right, then.
Oh, my goodness. It is delicious.
Okay, so I need to make this rated R. I don't know what I thought. I don't know why I started off the PG. Any kids, I need you to go to bed right now.
Yeah.
You sneak in and try to listen to nothing that's going on right now.
Okay. But moving on, that's what I've been doing, been making products. Aside from just that particular one, I've been making products and selling them. So I'm doing some marketing right now.
So people have been calling you back and saying that the product is working.
Oh, ma'am. Okay. So we got that. My counseling
and for the first time.
Oh, yes, ma'am. We finna mend some families. You hear me? Yes, ma'am. We finna mend some families deliciously.
All right. All right. Okay, so I'm so glad you found a product to save the average, family. Relationships are no longer in jeopardy because Kim has found the freaking remedy. Okay. All right. So other than your product making self, how else has your week been?
I've been real
other than testing and trying out your product.
Yeah, I have to test it in the lab. But let me make that clear. It's in the lab right now. But still, it is what it is. But
I'm sure you
good.
found a laboratory tech to help test your product out in the lab.
I'm giving away samples. I'm giving away samples so people,
make sure you throw mine in the mail, honey.
Okay, I will send you of adult age who wish to have a sample. Get in touch with us, okay? Just call on tonight. Let me know. But aside from that particular product, aside from that, all is well. I've been busy changing up some things. As far as my business is concerned, I'm definitely retiring in massage in the year, so I can move forward with my counseling and the product making and completely rebranding. So I'm glad about that. And the book is out again. I got requests for it, so I do have more books for people who are looking to purchase one. The Business of Marriage that you're feeling, the truth about every relationship. I do have something available, so I'm excited.
Okay.
About all of that.
Well, you should be. That's what's up.
Yes,
you got a lot going on. I mean, the cool thing is it's all in the love of, trying to save the family, relationships, building them up and all that kind of stuff. And giving advice about, things that you might want to avoid. Okay, so that's what's up. Okay, congratulations to you.
So my baby, let me say real quick, my grandson has learned to kiss. It's the cutest thing. He has learned to grab his mommy's face and kiss her. Oh, my goodness. When I saw that, I just cried. Oh, my God. It is the cutest thing.
You know what? He is so blessed to have you as a grandmother because you're about to spoil him. Like you're already probably spoiled. He's gonna get spoiled times 12. If his mama be like, no, you can't have it, and if dad say, we can afford it, he gonna be like, let me call my man on the phone because they tripping.
Right. Gammy, I got you.
Gammy, Gammy. Let's go, my Gammy. Yeah, that's what's up.
Okay. Gammy.
Well, I'm glad you had a good week. I'm glad that the baby is healthy and doing little tricks, little things. Oh, that's good. And that you got, your sex product out there for all those who need some help in the sex department. You trying to spice it up or, or help it out. Or
Yeah.
Or get it moving, whatever.
Yeah,
so I had a good week. My week has been this has been a blessed week for me, in all honesty. God just came through, and I'm not going to go into specifics, but let me just say, I got to give my testimony. Everybody has different things, issues, whatever they go through in their life, right? And you're praying about it. And so just this week, God has just really been blowing my mind with the manifestation, with Him answering my prayers and stuff. So this has been a really blessed week for me. Yeah, I'm happy, super happy.
Very good.
Super happy.
As you should be. Mm-hmm. I'm happy for you.
Yes. Yeah, I just think, the thing is, sometimes you can pray about stuff and you be expecting for it to happen in one particular way, and you might have your heart set on that. But that may not be God's will. That may not be the plan. That may not, you know what I'm saying? Right. So he'll answer the prayer, but it don't always show up exactly the way he thinks it's supposed to show up. But he said, lean not to your own understanding. So, yeah, I'm happy. It's been a blessed week. Yeah.
Good.
So,
that's good.
Y'all wanted to talk about this topic today. I know that y'all want to talk about it a few weeks ago, but I had just came back from Atlanta. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready for no deep topics at that point. But so we did domestic violence and cancer awareness. So now we come to the topic that y'all wanted to discuss, and it's really a big topic right now because there's a lot going on. So today we want to discuss the LGBTQ community, and I want to throw in there the Dave Chappelle comedy thing that he did, because that's big. Everybody's mad at him right now. Well, not everybody, but certain people at Netflix, I guess, were offended by some of the things that he said during his show or whatever, to the point that they wanted the show canceled. And I think they didn't get their way, so I think maybe they quit, and they're starting this whole big thing. It's big right now. So I did any of y'all get to see it? Did any of y'all watch it, or have you had a chance to watch it?
I did. No, I watched it today.
Who said I did?
Kim.
Did somebody say I did? Kim,
you
did?
Advocate. Yes, I did. I saw it today.
Okay. So, and I just looked at it myself because I'm like, well, I need to find out what exactly they mad about. Everybody mad about. I had to understand. So
people get mad about it.
So, Missy, you haven't seen it yet.
No, I
haven't seen it yet. Okay.
So,
Dave Chappelle has been out a long time. He's like the top comedian, one of the top comedians, period. I remember when I was in L.A., and he had just came, because, he had left for some years, and then he came back. And when he came back, I was in L.A., and when I say the line to see him was wrapped around all, that was a long line. And they was waiting to get in to see him. So he has built his career off of controversial comedy. That's just who he. That's who he is. So I don't understand, in all honesty, when I listen to it. Yeah, some of the stuff he says jacked up, but he's been saying jacked up. For years. He's that kind of comedian. That that's when you go and you got that kind of personality that you laugh and stuff like that. You're going to enjoy his show. That's his job. He's getting paid to be a professional at what he do. So he's making you laugh, but he's also making you think. You know what I'm saying? I guess the problem is he, in his vulgar way, he expressed something in a way. Well, when I say vulgar, I mean he jokes. He says he keep it real. He there's no filter. So when he was talking about the LGBTQ community, he was saying different things, but you had to listen to him to understand what it was he was saying. He started off by saying, listen here, LGBTQ community. I come in peace. So you already know he said that he about to act up, but that's his comedy. That's what people pay him for. You know what I'm saying? So I don't understand why everybody is getting all upset about something. We've been watching him and laughing to his jokes for years. That's like an Eddie Murphy, you know what I'm saying, or Richard Pryor, so I don't understand. I don't understand why they're taking it so far. He talk about everybody. He talk about everybody.
Yeah, I respect him, and the reason being, one, because he's always been exactly who he is, and he doesn't let anybody or anything take him off that. You know, he is completely real. Either if you love him, you do. If you hate him honestly. You got reasons. You know what I'm saying? But he don't care one way or another, because he doesn't do what he's doing necessarily for the fame of it all. You know what I'm saying? He's expressing things that need to be expressed that people won't express. You know, they're afraid of it. They hide behind it or whatever, and he's just not having that. So I respect him for that. As far as what all he was saying, I don't see what the problem is, because he didn't attack anybody. He's never done that, and he made it really clear he doesn't have any problem with the people of that community. He made very clear who he got.
No. He actually did say he did say he was he did say he was homophobic. He did say that. But that's not homo. No, he didn't say homophobic. He was transphobic. So he was specific on which one that he had, some uncomfortability with. But it was still never a hate type of comment. And I think the only reason why he was saying that, I think the only reason why he was saying that he was homophobic is because, he sees some that he probably he had known that they was a transgender, he would try to talk to him. Why he feel that kind of way, like, oh wow, because some of them are very, very beautiful. You can't tell. But I just think that the level that they're taking it to, like, what it boils down to is what he was saying, and right or wrong, whatever, like I said, it's comedy. So his job is to make you laugh and think. That's what he gets paid to do. That's why people from all around the world go to see him. Like he's a freaking genius at comedy. He's doing what he does. But the thing is, like, from what I could understand from what he was saying was, he already been dealing with prejudice. Of course, he doesn't hide from the Caucasian community. He deals with that prejudice. He's been dealing with the prejudice. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like the prejudice is also now saying that they're not just prejudice, but this is how you have to dress me, because now I'm coming out the closet to be who I am. So it was like he was just like talking about it but more in a racial way. It was more like he was saying, y'all have the LGBTQ community has grown so quickly in their movement, whereas African Americans, we still struggling. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why, because for that community, there's a melting pot. It don't matter the color. They're in every color, and they stick together. They unify. You know what I'm saying? So that's and they're in positions of power. So anytime you come together and you unify, it's going to make you strong. Whereas we as African Americans, a lot of times, we don't stick together like we should, and we don't have people in other high places and other nationalities or whatever that's coming in with us. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like us. There's a small minority of us, but there's a whole lot more of them, and they unify. That's why their movement is going quicker. That's why it's going faster. Yeah, we still, and he said, he specified, he said, y'all were able to, get laws passed before us. We just now got Juneteenth passed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're still struggling, and we're so much further behind where their movement is rolling in. And he was like, he used where he's, I'm actually kind of jealous because y'all doing the darn thing. So I don't understand why everyone wants to jump on a comedian when that's the way he has made money. That's his job, and he's always been that way. He's always. It's not like he just came out to boxing today. That's how he's his whole career. So I don't get it. Like if that was the case, then why even let him get started ever? Because that's always, like you say, he didn't change. He's the same person. The same comedian talking about the same controversial stuff in the way that he does it, that makes people laugh and think and be mad and all that kind of stuff, but still pay this to him. What? I don't. So do I think that in my opinion, and I know I have to be there, in my opinion, I just feel like, I don't. He talks about everybody. He talks about women. He talks about African Americans. He talks about white people. He talks about black people. Indian. So I don't understand why they're mad because they talk about him like that. He talks about everybody. Why y'all don't get talked about? I'm just saying that's what he does. That's his job. That's what you pay him for. That's what y'all been paying him millions of dollars for.
People that have an influence or a possibility of having a great influence on the way other people think or move are always attacked. And because he does it in a way that makes you laugh first, everybody likes to laugh. Everybody likes comedy. You know what I'm saying? That's universal like music. Because he does it in that way, what he says reaches a lot of people. They're going to laugh and they're going to think. That's threatening. That can cause a major shift in whatever agenda is happening. It can change things. It can make or break something. He's powerful. People may not consider him to be that, but he's very powerful because he's very influential, because he's very real. He's honest. He's to the point. That's a dude right there. He a F your feelings type for real, for real. He don't talk about his feelings. He don't feel nothing in his conversation. When he's talking, he's presenting facts, period. He gives information. And if he's saying, in my opinion, you know that it's just that. He's letting you know when it's his opinion. The rest of it is either through his experience or it's information that's clear that that's what that is. So people get offended when they hear truth about themselves. So here's the thing. When you hear truth about yourself, if somebody says something about you and it hurts your feelings or makes you angry, that's an indication that you know that shit's true. There's some truth in that. Otherwise, it wouldn't bother you. It shouldn't affect you at all. If it was no truth in it at all, it wouldn't bother you. You know what I'm saying? To that extent, he may mention that this group of, or this generation of, people in that community are way more sensitive than they used to be.
If we're talking about someone who this has always been who he is for decades, how long has Dave Chappelle been around? Like 20 years or something? Like, he's been around a long time.
I think over that.
How long has he been around?
Over 20.
10, 15 years? He's been around a long time. So this has always been him for. So this has always been him, right? So, I guess the older decades, they laughed it off and kept it moving. But the younger ones, I guess because of how crazy the world is right now, racially, just all the injustices and stuff like that, they're just, I don't know, they don't understand that it's just a joke. I mean, so there are no Caucasians or any other race that don't talk about different people and different nationalities and stuff. Like, he's the only one. That's comedy. Comedy is to make jokes, whatever will make people laugh or whatever will get to people. Where he's just a pro at it. He knows how to make you laugh and get you to talk his name. Now everybody's still talking his name. 2 weeks ago, and they still talking about his name. They still got him just a master at what he do. He's a master comedian. He's a professional. Mm-hmm. He's a professional. That's why he's getting paid some big bucks. But I don't think that the fact that when they get on TV, when people get on TV and they start calling African Americans names and stuff like that, we do get upset when it's in a real life type situation, like on the news or on some show that's that's not meant to be entertainment. You know what I'm saying? And they say something out of character, then you're knowing that's who they are, and it's a whole different thing. But when it's in entertainment and it's comedy, every race talks about every race or people or group of people or whatever. That's their comedy. That's what, because they're able to, with a comedian, they're able to say stuff that has some truth to it and make you laugh. That's their job. So Richard Pryor did it. Eddie Murphy did it. I know there's Caucasian, Indian, all kind of different comedians in high places, middle place, whatever, that's done it, everybody. So why are you tripping about something that was said in an entertainment atmosphere when that has always been accepted? Like, if you're going to say that, then you might as well tell all comedians to shut the hell up and don't talk about nobody.
Yeah. It's more so in the way I see it. It's more so because they become a protected class. So if black people, let's do that. If black people were a protected class and were able to benefit monetarily off of insults, off of feeling some type of way, off of being targeted to people's jokes or whatnot, if it would benefit us to complain or to express some, disliking in it, then of course you're going to complain. You're going to, bash the person or people or group that's doing it because it's going to financially support you. You know what I'm saying? It's a protected class. Well, because I say I'm this, if you say anything against me, then I'm going to file a complaint. Just the same way, and this is extreme, but it's the same thing with the whole Karen thing, okay? Karen, that's the white woman syndrome, okay? If Karen feels or makes up or whatever that she is threatened by the presence of a black anything, she's calling the police, right? Just because she feels threatened, because she is a protected class. So because she counts as a protected class, then whatever comes out of her mouth gets looked upon with what's the word? Privilege. There's a privilege there. So because she said so, she's a protected class, and we have to make sure that whatever she says she needs or whatever she says she's afraid of or whatever she says she's offended by, we have to make sure that we make her whole. So why aren't we, as black people, a protected class?
We in all honesty, we should be. We really should be. But and that's, I guess that was part of his joke, or his what he turned into a joking type thing, because either you're gonna cry about something or you're gonna laugh about it, or be angry about it. One of them emotions. So he turned this into a joke, but the seriousness of it is, first let me just say this. We love the LGBTQ community. I don't, to me, a person is a person. I don't care. One of my children's godmother is gay and is married, happily married, and she's the most beautiful, wonderful, freaking person. Beautiful. She could have any man or woman she wanted if she wanted to. Just a beautiful person inside and freaking out, like hands down. When he was talking, if they had continued to listen to the show beyond their emotions or anger, he would have talked about a special relationship that he had with a transgender. He grew to have a friendly love for this person. Like, it was another comedian. He talks about that and how, that person was the worst, but he wanted to help them, and they became friends. And the things that most people would get mad about, his friend laughed at. You know what I'm saying? Like it was beautiful. When that person died, he was crushed, and he created a whole trust fund for her. And basically, how she died was protecting, or not just protecting, but I guess she might have had some stuff going on already, emotionally, whatever, because it's not easy, whatever they go through. But I think there was a public issue that happened, and she was defending him, and then the community, the LGBTQ community went for her on social media, and I guess it was more than she could handle, and she killed herself. So that was so heartbreaking to me, because I can imagine you done became friends, with this person. You didn't grow to love him. You didn't pull him up under your wing. Somebody you didn't even know, you pulled him up under your wing, and you became friends with him, and you watched out for him. It was like, hey, every time I'm in town, come on, open up for me. Like, you was doing stuff to help this person. And because of your jokes, who you've always been, the LGBTQ community was going in, and she defended him, because she's always laughed at his jokes. She went to every joke. She didn't see. She knew it was just a joke, and it was his job. And she said he's a master at his punchline. She understood it because she was a comedian. But the community, I guess, didn't, and they must have trolled her so bad that she just emotion, she couldn't handle it, and she killed herself. But he talks about that in that, and I'm like, so I don't know. I didn't hear them in all them. I'm hearing the controversy about them wanting to cancel the show, and the people that quit because they didn't like it, and this lawsuit that I hear, and all this kind of stuff. And I'm just like, wow. But did they really pay attention to what he was saying, and did they even listen to that story? That was deep. That was somebody he had grown up. You can't be friends with somebody and try to do stuff for them for a long period of time, communicate, talk on the phone, this, that, and that, and not grow a certain kind of love from them. I don't care who they are. You brought them into your circle. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that they are taking things out of context. If they feel like, okay, well, he doesn't need to be talking about anybody. He doesn't need to be saying anything. In fact, no comedians can no longer talk about anybody, any color, any race, any sex, any nothing. Can't talk about women, can't talk about blacks, can't talk about whites, can't talk about nobody, can't talk about gays, can't talk about nobody. You might as well just shut all the comedians down. Why pull them out? When that was the norm. That was Richard Pryor, that was Eddie Murphy, and all the other. I don't know a lot of the Caucasian comedians, but I know they talk about everybody. So I don't. No, I think that in this particular instance, I feel like they are being. I feel like I don't feel like they're looking at the whole thing, and I think they should take their emotions out of it and see that it's just entertainment and comedy. This is what he's been paid to do. If they don't like it, they don't like the stuff he says, then they shouldn't like nothing that he says. It just shouldn't matter who he says it's about.
Yeah, well, that's not going to change. Like I said, as long as you can use your sensitivity to get, to get what it is that you want, you use it. That's the advantage. So that's another privilege. Everybody got privileges except us. That's just another privilege.
And that's what he's really talking about. That's what he's really talking about. In all honesty, if you get down to the bottom nutshell of what it is that whole skit was about, it was about the injustices that continue to happen to African Americans, and that everybody is getting all kind of rights and money and retribution, all that kind of stuff, except for us. Everybody else is they movements is passing. Everybody is. When the things happen with the Jews, they get stuff. The Indians, they get stuff. All the different. Races and stuff that went through things, they get except for us.
Yep. That's the whole
really the nutshell of what he was talking about. I don't think that he was trying to bash them. He was just trying to explain in a way, in a visual way, so that you can understand and visualize and comprehend and internalize what he was trying to say, so you will understand the disparity between the African American community and what all we've gone through. You know what I'm saying? True enough, the transgender community has, and the LGBTQ community has gone through stuff. But y'all stuff has only been within the last 15 years, because for a long time, y'all hadn't gotten to the point where y'all were at this point. But we're talking about something for African Americans, 400 years.
More than that. Yeah, that was his point. That was his
400
point.
years.
And
if y'all been going through it for 20, we've been going through it for 400. So that is what he was trying to express. And he was just trying to and the way he said it, I guess people got offended. But you have to listen to what it was that the point he was making, you know. And I just think, in this particular situation, they just immediately went in for, they just immediately went straight for the punchline, but they wasn't looking at the whole. It's like they went straight for a couple words and didn't really pay attention to the whole paragraph.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
That's basically what he was saying. So, Misty being quiet over there. So, what's your thoughts, Misty?
Well, I ain't seen it, but my thoughts about it is, me and one of my cousins was having a conversation about Lil Boosie and what he said about Lil Nas X and all that stuff, and I was saying, you know, I haven't heard that either. I heard like bits and pieces, but I don't like the bashing of anyone, you know, because it's not right. I like the comedy and all that stuff, but you know, I used to get joked on a lot during middle school, but that's just something I never liked. You know, I don't do that. Talking about people, all that's elementary and middle school to me. But I don't know. I love everybody just for who they are. You know, I don't care about who you laying up with. That's your business. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
Right.
And, you know, we was always taught it's not what you say, it's how you say it. But I came to realization it is what you say and how you say it. You know, so we do have to watch what we're saying because people's feelings are in it, you know. I don't know. But I just know for myself, I got a whole bunch of family and friends that are gay and bisexual, and I love them just the same as if they were with, you know, the opposite sex, you know.
Right.
That's, I mean, it's just not right.
Who cares who cares who you taking home? Who cares who you taking home at night or what you're doing and how you? What's most important is what is your character? Who are you as a person? How do you treat other people? You know what I'm saying? Like, are you a person that's trustworthy? Are you loving? You know what I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. That's what matters. Who you sleeping with when you close your door and lock it? Who gives a darn? I don't judge people by that. Is it my thing? No, I'm not. You know, that's not my thing. I love men. But I don't knock nobody else who that's not how you feel and that's not who you are. So what? Like I said, I hate to sound like, you know, the way that African Americans hate when they say, I got a black friend, but I'm just saying I got friends that are gay, and it's just, who cares? I love them the same. In fact, they're fun to be with, fun to be around. They can be some of the most trustworthy, just like anybody, just like any race, anybody. Like,
especially when you can go out with a gay brother and be like, oh, girl, like, oh, yes, look here. You know, I mean, they are fun. I have a lot of fun with gay men, a lot, you know, because we're interested in the same thing, you know. So, I don't know. I love them.
The only area that I probably have felt a little bit about is entertainment, because I feel like, and this is not just for what we see on TV, but just period. Like, the entertainment industry does not buffer things for children anymore. Like, it's just like, you know, they just show anything and everything, and I don't feel like, and it's on regular TV, regular TV, you're seeing stuff, or you get on the radio and you're hearing, you know, the music and how, you know, the way they talk. It's just like there's no filter for children. Just in prime time, you know, daytime type stuff. And I feel like there needs to be more monitoring about sexual scenes between a man and a woman, or, you know, or bisexual, whatever. It needs to be more monitoring for children. You know, too much stuff is being presented to them at a time in their life when they're still trying to process the world and who they are and whatever. So they don't need to be influenced or made to feel confused or trying to figure stuff out. Like, they, you know, it needs to be more filtered for children. My issue with the Nas X music video was just like, that was just, to me, that you should put that on somewhere and locked it and put rated R, XX, don't, under the age, no one under the age of 17 type stuff. Like, that's where that should have gone. It shouldn't have been where kids can look it up and or whatever. I don't know if they filtered out, or maybe they can't. Maybe children aren't able to see it. I don't know. But no, because my 6-year-old has seen it. I got kids that have seen it. So I think that's my issue with that. Like, that was not something the kids need to see, Oh,
right.
I mean, you got to think about the next generation, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of families, the parents are working, so TV or music or whatever, radio, whatever, is their entertainment. That's their life. You know what I'm saying? So everything they're learning about life is coming from what they see or what they hear. So I feel like entertainment needs to have more filters. Definitely.
Right, for the kids.
For the kids, because some of the children may not.
House. Go ahead, Patricia. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it just needs to be it just needs to be more for the children. You're making them confused before they even decide. The thought may have never even entered their mind until they've seen it on TV. Then they just like,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then not knowing what's what. Like, they need to filter television and the music. I just I'm not even gonna go in on the music. These music videos. Why?
When I was staying over at my daughter's house, my granddaughter wanted to watch a cartoon, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't know, And then I watched it, and she was sitting right there, and I seen two men holding hands, and I'm like, hold on, am I tripping? So I stopped it, and I rewinded it, and I said, that is two men watching. You can't watch this cartoon, walking and holding hands. I said, you can't watch this. So she, hooping and hollering, I wonder why. I said, no, you're not watching that. So the next day, I put it on for my daughter to see, and I said, am I tripping? Is that two men holding hands? Now, they're pushing the agenda on the kids, and it's not right. That, to me, is molestation. That's a form of molestation. Y'all are pushing the agenda on the kids, and it is way too soon for that. Like you said, the cartoons, like the TV programs. This is not the first time that was the first time I've ever seen it for myself, but I have been hearing it. But being that I don't have little kids, my TV is not on cartoons. So when I was at my daughter's house, just like one guy said, he said, you need to watch the programs before all these kiddie cartoons that's coming on this TV, and we sitting our kids in front of TV. You need to watch them before they get played.
Mm-hmm. And that's my thing. Like, so what about the rights of heterosexual people who that's not who we are, and we don't want our children exposed to that? Don't we have rights too? Don't people who they want it to be male and female? They want their children, their females, to marry males, right? or vice versa, or whatever. Like, what about the rights of heterosexuals? Like, shouldn't we have the right to have our children protected from that, where they're not exposed to that kind of stuff at an early age? Like, that's, and then you're putting it in cartoons. Come on, man. If that's your situation, I feel like this. If that's your situation within your home, and you want your children to be able to relate to it by showing them stuff like that, then that's fine. Go make those things where they can purchase them, so they can show them to their children, so their children will feel comfortable and understand. But it shouldn't be on national TV for all children, because that's confusing them, and they're not knowing what is. They might have never even thought about that. They might not have never entered their mind until that seed was planted by something that they saw at an age where they were too young to be seeing that kind of stuff.
Right. And the cartoon I seen was for 7-year-olds and up. And I was like, even though my granddaughter's only 4, but for a 7-year-old, I said, this is crazy. It was too much.
I think that's probably as heterosexuals, we need to respect the rights of, the gay community. And we need to respect them, because, it's a battle for them too, especially if, this is who they feel they are, and they have to feel like they're battling against the world to be who they are. Like, I get the whole movement and everything, and I understand that, but I feel like in pushing this movement, you forgot about the heterosexual people and how they feel about it as far as what their kids are exposed to, because that's not something that they want their children to see. So why put that for all kids? That should be something you can go to Amazon and pull off something so you can explain to your kids, you know, whatever. That's like, you know, it just, and not to say that every family shouldn't discuss it at some point because they're going to see it or whatever, but that's just, I just have my feelings about it. I feel like in protecting one right, you are walking on the rights of another, like, you know.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that heterosexual people are homophobic or any of that. It just means that that's not what they want their children to be exposed to, because that's not what they desire for the kids or whatever. Now, if the child just come out of the blue and that's what they become, then that it is what it is. But they don't want them to be subjected to that at age when they're trying to figure out who they are or which way to go or how to go. You know.
Right.
For Dave Chappelle though, I just feel like he's a comedian and that's his job. You know what I'm saying? And that's his job. Just like a fireman, just like a nurse, just like a secretary, just like, you know, a photographer, a videographer, an artist. That's what they're getting paid to do. He's getting paid to bring comedy that's filled with controversy, and people have been paying for that for decades. So if you're going to shut him down, then you might as well shut down every comedian, because all comedians do that. All comedians. I think they're making a big deal out of nothing, you know. If they don't want that kind of stuff to be seen, then you might as well take it out, not just out of comedy, but take it out of entertainment completely, because it's everywhere.
Yeah. Can you open
about
the
everything?
line? Can you open the phone line? Because I would be very interested in hearing what other people have to say about the subject. Because
okay.
I mean, you made a comment. I'm gonna say something, but if you would give that number out,
okay.
I know somebody.
So if you would like to call in and be a part of our conversation, the number is 516-387-1247. We're not judging, we're just having a discussion, you know. And we're talking about how we feel individually about the topic. So we're not trying to badger, bully, beat up, to hurt nobody's feelings. In fact, put your feelings and emotions up in the closet for a moment, and you just call in.
Don't say it in the closet. Don't say that. Don't say that.
You know, chest or whatever. I'm just saying. You know, let's talk about it, because I'm curious to hear, you know, what other people think, especially if there's any that are listening that are in the LGBTQ community. Like, I would like to understand, because maybe I'm not understanding it from the way that y'all understand it. So maybe I need to hear it, you know, from someone who was offended by his comedy show and explain why. Because from what I could get from it, he was really just talking about the disparity that's going on against African Americans, and now it's like, I guess what he's saying is the LGBTQ community has been after him or been picking on him or boycotting him, or he's been going through his thing with them for a long time. So it's not like they don't like jokes about themselves. They don't like those kinds of jokes. They don't care about it. They can laugh at us. They can laugh at us. They can laugh at white people. They can laugh at Indians. They can laugh at everybody. They cannot laugh at any jokes about it. I guess that's what that's going on. When I was sitting here, I was laughing at all the jokes. I'm just like, this is right here. You remind me of what was the Stanford and Stein and them, and what's the one guy what was the one? Archie Bunker and him, like
All in the Family. You talking about All in the Family?
Yeah,
Archie Bunker. Mm-hmm.
Or what's the cartoon that comes on of the guy that is the Family Guy? Is the Family Guy the one that he don't like? No, is that Family Guy or is that Simpsons? Who was the one who's the thug cartoon that he don't like nobody? Like he's prejudiced. He's all that. He's all those things in one. Which one is that? Is that Family Guy?
That he don't like anybody.
Huh?
You said he doesn't like anybody?
It's one of them that he's like a Archie Bunker or like a Sanford and Son. You know, he just.
He's probably Family Guy. I mean, he won't care. He say whatever. he say whatever.
Yeah, so
but I like that one too. Sometimes.
And we just laugh when he be talking smack. We just laugh. I mean, put a dark cartoon, they be talking smack them up or whatever, and we just laugh at it. So I just don't understand why all of a sudden they, you know, if you're gonna shut it down, you're gonna have to shut down all entertainment and start all over from scratch.
Yeah. I do want to get at you though, real quick, ma'am, because you made a comment about Black people in particular needing to show respect to that particular community.
Well, I'm talking about Black people to show respect to all communities, but yeah, so.
Why pick that out though?
You know me. Before you get into it, I'm gonna let you say whatever your rebuttal is. But let me just say this. Let me go into it so you can make sure that when you come back, you understand exactly what I'm saying. So for me, I'm not like I'm one of those kind of people. I'm just feel like we all are one. Two, the multiplication of two. We are all related, whether y'all like it or not. So yeah, African Americans should respect the LGBTQ community and all other communities, and all other communities should respect us. That's what I'm saying. But okay, go ahead.
No, I was just wondering why you put those two particular things together. Why you signal that out like that. Because it's like why should a people and this is a question, and it's a question for thought, but why should a people in whole have any type of concern for the feelings of another group of people who have made a decision to live a certain lifestyle? That's their choice. Respect your choice. You have a right to do that, but this is your decision to do this and to let people know that this is your choice. We don't have no choice. We are what we are because that's who we are. You know what I'm saying? We can't go fix that like there's a problem. We can't go change it or whatever. It is what it is. We're not asking nobody to excuse us. Please forgive me for being. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at completely two different animals, and Facebook just tripped me out. I knew that was going to happen. It was going to shut me right down. I knew that was going to happen. But anyway, you're comparing, and I'm putting it real lightly, okay? But you're comparing people who are sensitive about a discussion on who they have sex with, who they choose to be intimate with a group of people, with a nation of people who have just been beaten and molested and disregarded and no rights given and rights taken and all kinds of stuff just because they happen to be born a certain shade, they happen to have a different level of melanin, whatever. That's two different things. Like, it don't have nothing to do with nothing.
It's not. I don't agree. I don't agree because there have been a lot of. So, like I said, the length of time is definitely not comparable. What African Americans have been going through, and even there's even documents to say that African Americans were raped by the slave masters and stuff. Males, there was male slave masters that used to rape, or they used to call a name. What was it? Buck breaking and stuff like. So that's been going on for that was going on for a long time ago. So the amount of time is definitely not comparable, and neither is the extent. But you still can't take away from the fact that in that short period of time, there have been a lot that have been killed just because of who they love or how they live their life. I mean, so it is the same because it's still a prejudice, whether it's a prejudice against sex or color. That's still a prejudice, and there's still many who have lost their lives. There's mothers who are still crying over their babies that's been killed because of no other reason than because they were gay. So,
but you know what? Let me interrupt you real quick, Patricia, because I want to put this. It's the same thing with black men. Okay, they getting killed just because they're black men. You got black women being killed and organs being snatched out just because they're black women. That is not the same thing at all. Not at all. Like those two things they cannot be compared. Who you sleep with, I don't give a damn who you sleeping with. I don't care. And the problem is not that people, or I don't even think that the fact is that these communities are being targeted just because of who they're sleeping with. They're being targeted because they're being deceitful about who they're sleeping with, and they're deceiving other people. That's the thing. You get a person, when we talked about the sexual deception that other time, you have people who are getting into relationships with the opposite sex. So it seems, okay? They get into relationships with the opposite sex. These people are developing emotions and feelings and whatever with them, only to find out later that they not who they say they were. You've been lying all this time who you are. They're not going after them because you decide you want to sleep with somebody that looks just like you. It ain't about that. It's about you lying to me about it, or you're trying to force me into your community. You're trying to force me into accepting everything that you're doing. You're trying to make me have to be a part of that part. Don't take away my right, my privileges, my whatever to say I'm not interested in that. Don't come throw your stuff on me. Do what you do, sleep with who you sleep with. Don't come over here in my house trying to sleep with nobody over here, though. Or don't try to make me feel like I should feel ashamed because I'm not sleeping with the same type of person that you are. It's that part. It ain't about it's not about the who you with. It's the how you trying to make me deal with the who you with. Don't force it. That's the problem. So, no, I don't think that it's just because of who they've decided they want to lay with, because nobody cares. Nobody would even know if they didn't broadcast it.
But it's still, prejudice is prejudice. It doesn't matter what your prejudice or race is about. So when you say you don't understand why I compare it to two, I don't understand why you don't see the comparison, even though one has been more brutal and over a longer, stricter, extended period of time than the other. It's still the same. You know, there are a lot of graves for members of the LGBTQ community, and I'm just going to say the gay community, and just know I wrap that all up because I don't want to be messing up these letters, but there's a lot that have been killed. They have lost their lives just like African Americans. But yes, for us in America, and not just in America, from when I look at the news, it's that I don't understand what the problem is with the skin tone, and it's not just African Americans. You have different races who they're prejudiced against people who are darker within their race, and they might be lighter than everybody. There's something about darkness, the darkness of the skin, or the more hue in your skin. I don't get it. I think that is the stupidest thing to be not liking somebody because of the color of their skin and all that kind of race. You know, you got people who are prejudiced against people that are disabled. You got people that they're prejudiced against disabled veterans, and it's a lot of. Just hatred is hatred. Prejudice is prejudice. Racism is racism. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. It's still the same emotion, and it still hurts the same. It still causes the same amount of damage. So that's why I put the two together. But I understood what Dave Chappelle. I can understand him being offended by some of his jokes. Some of his jokes were brutal, but so was Richard Pryor, and so was Eddie Murphy, and so was a lot of other comedians. But I can understand you being not liking, ooh, why you saying, not liking some of the comments. Okay, so that's not a person that you want to go see, but you might go see another, comedian that talks the same way, but is against another race or a people or situation or whatever, whites, blacks, whatever, and you'll laugh like hell. So I just think that I just don't. He was talking about the disparity between the way that African Americans have been treated and how we're still fighting for rights, and how this agenda is not even near as long, and they've jumped through leaps and bounds. And then what he experiences in the industry, because understand, if I'm not mistaken, he walked away for a long period of time because of them wanting him to put on a dress or something like that. So this is something that's always he's been dealing with in the industry. See, people don't know what people go through, when you get to the higher octaves of the entertainment industry. They don't know. I remember he walked away, I want to say it was it 10 years? Like, he was gone for a long time. And when he came back, he said that's why he left. So that means that this is something that this has always been a part of his comedy. It's always been who he is, and and there's always been, I guess, that tension between his jokes and the LGBTQ community. But I guess there's a lot going on up there. Up in them the clouds up there, and stuff going on. That stuff that we don't know, stuff that's happening behind closed doors, and stuff that he is talking about and about what's going on with him, because he's basically saying those people that's up in high places, you know what I'm saying, are especially the ones who are from the LGBTQ community, are really coming in, chasing after they want. He experiencing that pressure. I mean, this is something. That's just cool. Yes, what's going on, Armory? So did you get a chance to watch the Dave Chappelle?
I didn't get a chance to watch the Dave Chappelle show, but I used to be an avid fan before it went off the air, and I do know that this was before the Me Too. This was before all that. So the higher ups were like, "Hey, you're getting paid $50 million. We want you to do it like this." When he first started, he was able to use his own material, and he talked about everybody, from presidents to modern-day people, from the LGBT community to the heterosexual community. He talked about everybody. So when they told him, well, we want you to wear this dress, and we want, he let them know, I don't get down like that, and I'm not willing to do that. I don't have a problem with gay people, but I'm not doing any gay skits on my show. And it became a huge issue, so one of the higher-ups gave him an ultimatum. You can either walk away from this $50 million, or you can do what we tell you to do, because we're the ones who pay you. But by that time, he was already a rich man, and he decided to walk away because in his belief, he said that he's not doing that, and he's not going to promote it, period. And he did not like being told what to do and how they was just switching everything up on the show. So he refused to do it, and he lost his contract.
Yeah, he ain't care nothing about that. I got mad respect for him.
I thought that was. I remember that. I remember him walk. I remember when he came back, and when he was talking about that. So there's a lot of things that's probably happening behind closed doors that he's experienced. That's the way he's handling it. You know what I'm saying? When you get to that level in the entertainment industry, you don't know what kind of what is going on up there. You don't know. For him to be that high up and getting paid that much and still being able to talk about whatever he wants to talk about for all these years, you know that there's a lot going up there on up. It's stuff going on behind closed doors between him and the higher up that he's basically, expressing. And he's been expressing it throughout his years. And I'm assuming that some of those who are giving him a hard way to go are probably Caucasians, and they're probably outwardly gay. You know what I'm saying? And so he's probably fighting against that. He's just saying he's saying it in a way that is part of his job, and he's a pro at doing it. But that's basically what he's talking about: the racism that he's experiencing from and the treatment that he's experiencing because of who he is. Yeah, he's been dealing with this for a long time. We talking about he's been back out for, 5, 6 years, something like that. So we're talking about he had left 10 years prior to that. And he had been out a long time before that. And this is something that's always been part of his thing. So that battle between him and them and whatever's going on up there has been a long time. It's been a long time.
Give that number
but the
again. I know people want to call. They got to call in. People got to call in on this one.
I
Give them that number.
Sometimes people don't want to call. They just want to listen. So if they don't call in, then maybe they just want to listen, And that's the cool thing about our discussions. We talk about it from different perspectives. And sometimes people just like to hear, so they can go and have their own personal conversations, later on. And that's all cool. But, you and I we don't always, we agree on some stuff. It's like if we agree on something, we're freaking agreeing. But if we don't agree, we don't agree. And I don't agree with you saying that I shouldn't put the two together as far as African Americans and what we've gone through and the gay community and what they go through, transgender.
I kind of agree. I have to kind of agree with Kim, and I'll tell you why. Because black people, African Americans, have been going through this issue since we got over here on the Mayflower. And it's everywhere. We've been mistreated everywhere we go. However, the gay community, once they just start coming out, which I would have to say they've always been out, but I honestly don't feel like anyone should have to hide in a closet over who they love. But I do find it ironic that we've been fighting the same fight for close to 500 years, and once they came out, and especially once the documents was signed that same-sex can get married, I mean, now they have all kind of hate laws to protect them. They have a lot of different things to protect them, where we are still ass out. So I can't really say I can compare the two. Yes, they were discriminated against, and yes, we were discriminated against. And that's really the only comparison. They have been, the world has been more open, or at least the United States has been more open to the gay community. And also, they have a lot of rights. If you say the wrong words, there's been plenty of entertainers who had to publicly apologize for what they were feeling personally because it was offensive. But they have just dogged us. And there's really not been we are making an extremely slow turtle walk progress, whereas they just kind of zipped up. And that's from what
there are so many of them of all different races, colors, socioeconomic status. Like there's unity in their movement. There's unity of all different. There's unity from the black community, from the white community, from all communities, because gay people are national. It's multicultural. Thank you, baby. Multicultural. So the unity is stronger because it's a bigger melting pot of everybody coming together. Anytime you all you have a group that come together and as one, it's always going to be stronger. So their movement is stronger and quicker and faster because it's multicultural. You know what I'm saying? And so you got people in high political power that are gay. Doesn't matter what color they are or whatever. Like they got that unity. They stick together. Whereas for us, it's just been us, and then sometimes we fight against each other. So it's just like the unity is not there, and the way it needs to be. And the other cultures are not joining in with us the way they need to be for us to help it move faster. If all the other cultures were to come together with African Americans and push for our rights, we would have been much further. But we don't have that, so that's why they're faster moving.
It's so much deeper than what we're talking about. I said it's so much deeper than what we're talking about right now. It really is.
I mean, it probably is, but you cannot deny that when unity, I don't give a damn how deep it goes. The point is, if there's no unity in whatever that death is, it's not going to be as successful or forceful as if you're trying to do it by yourself or with just a couple of people. It's the unity of them coming together against whatever it is they feel like is they're not happy with. You know what I'm saying? And what really needs to happen is we need the other cultures to come and join our movement. We need the other cultures to come in and say, you know what?
We don't have no movement.
What happened to Africa? What I'm saying,
we don't have a movement.
We have a move. We do have a movement. It's just
what?
What do you mean? We got the NAACP.
If we have a movement, then what is it? What is it? Define it.
I thought that was part of what Black Lives Matter was a movement. Isn't that a movement?
No. That's not even run by black people. That's not even run by black people, and that's mostly funded. Let me give you some info so you can check it out. That's mostly funded by the organizations that we're talking about. That ain't got nothing to do with Black lives. Nothing. That ain't got nothing to do with us. Because if you consider however long it's been out, 2-3 years or whatever.
Black Lives Matter was not started by. Black Lives Matter was started by two black women. I don't know what you're saying.
Okay, well, continue to look it up. Just continue to research.
Black Lives Matter was Black Lives Matter.
Let me finish what I'm saying, though. But continue to research.
It was started with two black women. It was started with a black woman.
Okay,
had another black woman
continue to research that. Is all I'm saying. I don't even want to talk about that.
I'm just telling you where it started.
I'm
not saying who didn't join in. I'm
Research
telling you said it was started.
Okay. Research.
Well, I still don't agree. I feel like prejudice is prejudice, racism is racism. I feel like it don't matter. It's still the same emotion, and it still has the same outcome. You know, it's still damaging. It's still bad. Whatever. Yeah, we African Americans, we are still struggling. Yes, we are. We need the other cultures to join in with us and make it do what it do the way that they're doing for the LGBTQ community. We just need because that's what they have.
What that is for us. That's all I'm saying.
Huh?
What is it?
We can't
I said, but we still can't define what that is for us. We still have not defined what is our movement. What are we doing? What is it? Our movement is fill in the blank.
What you mean? Our movement is for equality, for retribution, for equal rights. I'm trying to figure out what you're talking about.
Let's just go with that, right? Let's just use that. That's our movement. How long we been doing this?
Okay, we've already addressed the fact that we've been doing it for 400 years.
So it's not a movement. If it ain't moving, it ain't a movement. If it ain't doing nothing, it ain't going nowhere, it ain't a movement. It's an idea. It's a thought. It's a hope. It's a wish. It's a prayer. It ain't a movement. It ain't doing nothing. It's an emotion. It's a feeling. Period.
I know it has been doing it. It has been doing. No, it has been doing stuff. We're not still out there picking cotton and getting raped by the slave master. And there has been movement. It may have been slow.
We are still getting all of that. We just get a chance now that we can choose the plantation and choose the master that we don't serve. That's it. You can choose it.
Well, if that's the case, that's every American that's working for somebody.
We ain't talking about every American, though. We talking about the ones that call themselves black.
Okay,
girl. Well, this is one of those conversations.
I don't agree that we don't have a movement. I don't agree.
Okay, you don't have to. You don't have to.
There may not be unity, but I don't. There's not like right now. We don't have unity. There's no unity in this discussion.
It's not going to be. It's not going to be. I would want to hear from somebody else other than us, though. You should open the phone lines up just in case somebody does.
I have opened the phone lines. Okay, listen here. Kim said, "Damn it, call in, please. Somebody call in so Kim can have somebody else to talk to to get on her side other than me.
It ain't about that. So give the number. Give them the number, please.
It's 516-387-1247. Do I need to get online and beg somebody to call? Kenny, come, Kenny.
No, I would like to hear from somebody that's actually a part of that or that community.
Yeah.
516.
When you having people talk about a community that they don't know nothing about, then it becomes strictly opinion. Opinions don't mean nothing at this point. If what we're trying to do is get some information, get some understanding, then you got to get it from those people who are in it. We talking with 3-4 people that don't that are not a part of that community. So what we're exchanging here is simply opinion.
I'm not directly a part of the community, but I have loved ones and friends and stuff that are a part of the community, and what affects them affects me. So,
girl, we'll have them call in. See if they'll call in.
How about the? You're gonna have to make me go on live with my hair. I'm not for this whole live thing. But let's see what.
But to have, like I said, to have the conversation about a community we ain't a part of and don't know nothing about other than what is being shown to us or thrown at us, it ain't. I mean, it's not fruitful. It's just a bunch of opinions gonna go back and forth like we do.
Well, that's
like
what
we
a
do
discussion
anyway.
is.
But for what?
A discussion is
what?
Just that, opinions. That's we didn't come. We never once came up here and said we got the facts and we got it all.
Well, here's what I'm doing. As far as this is concerned, I'm keeping the rest of my opinions to myself. How about that?
Why?
As far as
you wanted to talk about this.
No, ma'am.
So,
no, ma'am.
You wanted to talk about this topic.
That wasn't my. No, ma'am. Don't put that one off on me. That was not my topic. No, I kept saying we ain't ready for it. No, ma'am. No, I said we're not ready for this conversation because we need to be if we're going to have the conversation, it needs to be with somebody that is a part of it that can give some insight or whatever. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So if there is anybody out there that is listening that is a part of the LGBTQ community, please call in. The number is, Patricia,
516-387-1247. I need somebody else to argue with other than Kim.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
I'm just playing.
We need
real talk.
Hear from somebody that is in the community because we're all just giving our opinions, and we need to know from someone that is in the community.
But
what did y'all feel about
Okay, so we have a lot of different discussions that someone who's not directly affected by it is not on the call. Like, I mean, we talk about all kind of different stuff. Like, we talked about breast cancer. None of us have had breast cancer before, but we still talked about it. Like, I don't understand why. I mean, if they don't want to call in, if people don't want to call in, they don't want to call in. You know what I'm saying? Just continue with the conversation. Maybe we need to take a music break. I feel like this is probably music break time.
Yeah.
Because Kim, I feel like you're getting in your feelings.
Not at all. I'm just not going to keep expressing an opinion on something that I already know. One, does not require my opinion. First of all, it needs some facts, and I cannot bring you all of those facts.
Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna take a break. We'll be right back. On Group Unscripted.
You ever take the time to sit down and write about 50 to 100 things you're thankful for? You should try it. It's like real therapeutic. You know what I mean? Tell them. They coming out unscathed from them crash cars. Thankful for my children, I'm praying they listen. I ain't normal, daddy's been given a different mission. An able body and a sound mind. Cause hard times made me feel like I was losing mine. Hard climbs seemed like a tough road to hoe. I overcame to overthrow the devil off my shoulders. So blessed to have the love of a great woman. Been through it all, knowing one day we would overcome it. A strong mother who fought hard to beat the odds. A loving dad who ain't complain, just played his cards. My grandpa's wore a rare breed. I got that Willie Walker drive, watch me succeed. That Bird Robinson hustle was so with me. I'm on my job going hard, let them in feed. Bless my day one, still my day one. Good or bad, right, wrong, wouldn't change none. Get in the jam, one phone call, they come. This man don't slay some about my loved ones. Bless to get that monkey off my damn back. Sobriety and therapy got my life back. Connected with my high power on the right track. Fully focused, know the devil don't like that. Bless. It was times I thought I couldn't take it. Racking my brain, crunch time, thought I wouldn't make it. But every time I talked to God, that was motivation. So every time you hear me rhyme, you are hearing greatness. Man, used to question my gifts. I own attention seek and introvert to the tip. Being the wordsmith gives me the power to reach, to help heal and teach, relate, I don't preach. Look, heaven and hell's a mental condition. You get closer to either with your every decision. Gotta thank G. Porter, he aided the mission. He ain't turn me away, just put me in position. The next moves is on me. Guardian angels got my back, so it's on we. One man band, I'ma walking on me. They praying for my downfall, it's beyond me. Bless, I got a lot to be thankful for. Think about what you thankful for. Just let me thank some more. I got a lot to be thankful for. Got a lot of things to be grateful for. Man, I got a lot to be thankful for. It's my favorite part right here. Make that guitar stand up and walk. Man.
How it used to be, like when you heard your favorite song, you had to get up and move your feet, cause it felt good down in your soul. You had to let everybody know that that's the jam, y'all don't understand. Grab your lady's hand, pull her close and dance. Can we go back? No, yeah. Baby, can we rewind? Take it back, take it back for me, girl. Cause we happy it's a weekend. We're getting ready to hit the spot. I'm looking extra fly, you're looking extra hot. 2:45 when we hit the door. Yeah. 5 minutes later we're on. Hey, we didn't even stop off at the bar. Cause we happy right where we are. Can we go back? Oh yeah. Baby, hey, can we rewind? You're just like that.
yourself for what's going on. There is so much things that's going wrong. Do you understand the way I feel? Yeah. There's just too much people being naughty. Every day I wonder why. So many bad things that make you cry. If we don't stop this fighting, you're gonna end up here with nothing. Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Anyone say that things are happening everywhere. Hatred and killing. That's not the way. That's not the way. If we don't stop, we're all gonna pay. No matter what we try to do, never will be enough for me and you. And I know we are the ones who can change the things if we want to. What's happening to you and me? Oh, what's going on? What's going on? Does anyone care? Things are happening everywhere. No. That's not the way. If we don't stop, we know we're all gonna pay. All right. We gotta stop the fighting and killing. Stop it.
Yes, I'm sorry. You have tuned into another episode of On the Move Unscripted. And we're having a heated discussion. I'm sorry, that was an unscripted thought right there. We're having a very heated discussion today, me and the ladies, and we're definitely asking, if you'd like to be part of this discussion, give us a call, 516-387-1247. Kim said if somebody don't call in, she don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm done.
Isn't that what you said? Basically, you said if somebody don't call in, they don't want to talk about it.
Basically, I don't want to keep giving an opinion. For what? Okay. I mean, I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? But this is as I said, we weren't ready to have this conversation. This needs to be discussed.
I don't feel like what you saying we weren't ready for this conversation. I'm trying to understand. All we're talking about, really, the essence is the Dave Chappelle controversy in the LGBTQ community and how they responded to it. So I'm trying to understand, what do you have to do to be ready for a topic about something
because of the topic, and because it is a sensitive and a protected topic, it becomes something that requires somebody who is in it to give you information on what's being said. You don't understand why they're mad, why they're angry. Well, us having a discussion about it back and forth ain't gonna answer that question because we're not in it. We can't speak on their behalf. I don't know.
Us having a discussion might encourage other discussions, and maybe they will explain. Someone will come out and explain. So, because maybe we're missing something. Maybe we're missing something about.
We're definitely missing something. There's a whole lot. There's a lot.
I know that there's a lot. First of all, we're talking about entertainment, right? We already know that a lot goes on in entertainment, period. You know what I'm saying? By the time that you see something on TV or hear it on the radio, you don't know all the stuff that happened behind the scenes and behind closed doors. Like, you don't know what all happened before that ever reached. It's a lot deeper. It probably is deeper than what we know. But I'm just talking about on the surface. All I could see from his show was that he was just talking about the disparity between the African American community and what we've gone through and our rights and how we've been trying to push for equality and all that kind of jazz and the things that have been approved or whatever versus the LGBTQ community and how fast their movement has been and how they're getting things done where we're still struggling. Like, and the racism and prejudice in that, because the one thing he said was like, so do you think it's possible for, someone who's gay to also be prejudiced? So basically he's talking about still experiencing that, which of course, like we said, he's had that battle with that whole community for his entire career from what I can remember, even to the point where he quit for a period of time. So, he's just bringing out to the face of what he's talking about. So that's why I said I don't understand why people are taking it so much further to the point where they want the show canceled or they want to file. He's a comedian, and that's what he's getting paid to do. I mean, that's what he does, and that's what he's been doing for many, many, many years. And so has a lot of other ones. People go to see them so they can laugh at controversial stuff, so they can laugh at themselves. So they can, that's what comedy's about. So I don't know. There's some stuff going on that's probably going on behind closed doors, like you said, that we don't know that got something deeper, much, much deeper, and not so much on a something, maybe some battle, some issues between employees and him, or the higher ups to him, or what. There's something going on that we don't. There's more to this.
Yep. There's a lot going on. Is everybody back on the phone?
Yeah, they just listening to us. Armory, Missy, Justice.
Yes, Armory is on the line. Armory is on the line. What's going on?
So you agree with Tim, but you don't. You agree with a lot of what Tim is saying. So that's cool that y'all both agree.
What I agree with, because you should be able to love who you want to love. And it shouldn't be no type of, no one has the right to go around and pick on somebody simply because. I mean, if that's who you love, then that's who you love, and you should not be discriminated against that. What I was saying, I agree with Kim on, is that, with the LBG, and you are correct, they do have a much broader, multi-ethnic culture where they do get a better, they will get, a better response and more help, because a lot of black people do go against black people. It's sad, but it's true. But what I was saying was it's hard for me to compare the two because we've kind of been in captivity, even though we're not actually in captivity. But it took a man to die by the hand of the police for the whole world to even recognize. I've had so many of my white coworkers like, oh, my God, I had no idea that black people go through that. You know, because if you're not living that life and you're not in that life and you don't socialize with that person past going to work with them or school or whatever with them, then you can't really expect them to know that that's what they're supposed to do or not supposed to do. Or that it doesn't involve their personal life, so they wouldn't know. You know, but I'm just glad. I mean, it's unfortunate that it cost a man's life, but it did wake up. It shook the world. So now we're seeing changes. And to me, they're still coming slowly, but we are seeing some change. Because you're right, we're not still out there picking cotton. We're not still in there changing diapers and breastfeeding other people's kids, you know, because their parents are socialized. So we have made great strides. But Kim is also correct, in my opinion, because, you know, a lot of these things that's going on. I heard you mention NAACP. I've not heard NAACP do anything, really, in the last 30, 40 years, to be honest. After the 70s, 80s, they kind of went dead, and I kind of was done with them when one of, what was his name, Bill Duke or David Duke, one of who was known to be an extremist, and he went to the NAACP for help. And even though there's so many other organizations now, we are the what does that stand for? NAACP. Was it National Association for Colored People? You know, but they're like, we're here to help all people. But for them to sit there and help somebody who was kind of like a grand who bragged about how many lives, how many black lives he took, you know, that's not somebody that I would have helped. Because there are still organizations that would have helped him. You know, so, but the fact that, I mean, I understand what the NAA was trying to do, but to me, that kind of set us back. And after that, a lot of people did lose interest, you know, including myself. I'm no longer a member. And until I actually see them making some moves on TV, other than, the NAACP right now, they riding on the name because the name has been around for so long, and once upon a time, they were so strong. But they have truly weakened over the decades.
It's weakened because we're not becoming members. Are you a member of the NAACP, or are you, Kim or Missy? I know that I have not joined. So, no. I don't think I've joined.
Well, I was a member, but if you're willing to help somebody that killed so many black people, I don't want to be a member of your organization. So when they start helping our people again, because for whatever reason, we're not out of the loop. We're not.
So, like Kim was saying, she doesn't feel like Black Lives Matter was a successful movement.
I do believe that Black Lives Matter was a movement, and I do believe it was started by 2 black women. But one of those black women, from the time that movement started, money was being sent. I mean, and I'm always down for people upgrading their lifestyle. But, you know, she went from, once the money started coming in, that should have been going, I guess, towards the movement. That's what people sent their money in. But this woman bought her a $350,000 home. She then upgraded her cars. She has spent a lot of money, and her regular income from her regular job has not changed. So that makes me to believe, in my opinion, that she's been taking a lot of the Black Lives Matter money. And a lot of people have been chastising her for that.
Okay. Let's just tackle that for a second, because Kim want to get up off the other topic. So a nonprofit business is still a business. Like if when they started that and they turned it into a nonprofit business corporation, whatever, then the people they're allowed to get paid. They're allowed to have salaries. They're allowed to make money, and if she started the nonprofit, you think these big nonprofit hospitals and stuff, you think them executives is not making a lot of money, even though they say they're nonprofit? These big giant hospital organizations, You don't think them executives
You're right. You're right. But you know what? At least these big giant hospital corporations, the nonprofits, you see the difference. You see where they are taking in people with no insurance or whatever. They're still taking people in. What I'm saying, other than selling of the T-shirts and stuff like that, what exactly have Black Lives Matter been doing? Like what have they been doing?
They did enough. They've done enough to where they moved the whole world. Everybody knows
to do
Black
what?
Lives Matter.
To do what? Like what? Like what?
Everything got to start. You know what? Everything. Black Lives Matter is new. This ain't no old corporation. This ain't no old organization that's had years and years and years to get the policies and organizational understandings and all that kind of stuff together. This is not that kind of nonprofit. It can be, and it takes time. Every corporation goes through those beginning stages, those learning stages or whatever, but a nonprofit business is still a freaking business, and nonprofits make millions of dollars, and please believe those executives, I don't give a darn. They're making large salaries, and they're living nice off of starting that nonprofit business that has money coming in from all kinds of different kind of ways or whatever. So maybe the Black Lives Matter needs more structure, this, that, and the other, but that don't mean it's not a movement. That don't mean that, because it was a movement. You heard about it. If it wasn't a movement, you would have heard
now that they did sign some of the officers, we do got a council team to monitor the officers, and yes, the officers are supposed to all, and they're working on sheriffs and all law enforcement to have their cameras on, have a camera for one, and have them on at all times. So, yeah, but that's something that the city has done. Like with when you were saying, like, the nonprofit hospitals. Like, for instance, that, the wounded troops, the president, not the president they have now, but the previous president, and that's nonprofit. Like, oh, yes, these troops, we need that. And they got troops on there. Look, I got hurt in this war, and they show explosions. Yet there were a lot of troops complaining that through the troubled troops, that they didn't receive that help. They didn't get that money. But the president, every year when he have his board meetings, I mean, each year the board meetings was getting more extravagant. The meeting is in Hawaii. He's jumping off the building with a jetpack. That money was not supposed to be used for that shit. All his suits now are Italian suits. He took that money, in my opinion, and he may have thrown a little bit of money here and there, but a lot of that money went on his own personal self. And even though it's nonprofit and they should receive money for the business and what they're doing, but don't lose sight on the purpose of the business and why you're doing it. That money was supposed to be help moving the troops, and yet there was too many troops saying it wasn't happening. Now, the Black Lives thing was all the way live back in 2020. If somebody get killed, if enough of us get killed or something like that happen or complete injustice, you see, that's when I hear the Black Lives Matter. I may still see some people in Black Lives Matter shirts and merchandise or whatnot, but my thing is, like, where are these meetings set up? What are they doing to make the Black Lives Matter? What are they doing? I have no problem with nonprofit as long as your profit is showing the improvement of the purpose. What I'm saying is, personally.
There's a caller. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we've been asking for a caller. Want to call in? So let me go ahead and bring them in on the conversation. Hello, caller. You are calling from the ATL. I know that number anywhere. 678. Hello, caller. What's your name, and how would you like to contribute to the discussion?
This is Big G. I have a quick comment that I want to make real quick.
Hey, Big G. Thank you for calling in.
Okay, yes. Basically, I just want to say that on the average, I don't know if you are aware of this, but on the average, up until this year, I ain't going to say African American, I ain't going to say this and that, melanated people were spending $1 billion a month buying bull crap, Jordan shoes, and all that other stuff. They spend $1.2 billion annually spending power. They have spent $1.2 billion of spending power. $1 billion a month. But in essence, what I'm doing, this is what I was talking to someone earlier about this. This is the thing. Until you change the mind, then you ain't gonna change the design. You got to change that mental thing. You can, instead of sitting up here worrying about trying to be validated by some evil infested European, why don't you buy your own store? You got enough money to buy your own doggone hair salon. You got enough money to support and buy your own, but your vision is not there. You're looking to try to be accepted by the Europeans whom you want to, not only you all per se, but I'm just saying whom you want to imitate, because you're always going to imitate those that you look up to or those that you see as that's the end thing. And it's not. See, the thing about it is, Pepto-Bismol moves. People that's going from one place to another move. Bowels move. But talking ain't moving yet. And talking and sitting still and squatting on the toilet provide the same thing because they're all full of thank you.
So you just introduced what the Black Lives Matter movement has helped to produce. Kim was asking what is the movement, and I couldn't think what you just called it. So the movement is financial. That's what's really going. That's the movement that the African American community, the movement is on. Is we have a lot of, for instance, you got a lot of people who became vendors who started selling their own products. You got people, communities that are buying acres of land for just African American businesses and stuff like that, so that we can start to invest back within ourselves, because we don't have that unity from the other cultures. So that's the movement that Black Lives Matter has transformed into, Kim. It started off with the George Floyd and all the controversy. Not before George Floyd, but I'm saying it started off way back, Michael Brown. It started way back for whichever the first televised murder was that created it within the last 2, 3, or however long the Black Lives Matter has been around. It has moved where the whole world has heard of it. So that's a powerful movement.
But here's the thing, not to take away from what you. Let me say this, and then I'm really done. Let me say this. I gotta tell you this real quick. Let me say this real quick.
Let me finish my thought, so I don't forget it.
Girl, your thoughts is 99 minutes.
Well,
go ahead.
I don't say that to you when you get to talking.
Because I don't be on there for 99 minutes. Go ahead. I'm going to give you a fact and I'll be done.
You're taking up my time. Say it.
Order in the court. Order in the court.
Go ahead.
Because you may forget.
Exactly,
so the movement.
Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
You see what I'm saying?
I'm not talking to you.
Can I get some unity?
So, I'm not talking to you. I'm gonna put it on mute. I was responding to a
yeah, but you're talking. I still your voice. So the thing is, it has gone from it's transforming. So it's going from us gathering downtown and tearing up stuff and all that kind of stuff, that now we're saying, okay, well, because we know that we spend this much annually, billions of dollars, it's time for us to start investing in our own community. It's time for us to start having our own Black Wall Street type stuff going on. That is where the movement, if you want to know what the movement, that's the movement that has shifted to. That's why you got so many of them, and it lets you know that we are moving, because so many more employers who are used to employing African Americans in these low wage jobs and all kind of stuff, they're looking for workers, because the people have started to shift into their own businesses and stuff like that. That's what the workforce is experiencing right now, is that shortage, because we're moving in that is the movement. It's an economical movement. That
may I say something?
Wait, G, please let me get this out, because she'll cut me off. Please let me get this out real quick. That's not what that movement is about. That Black Lives Matter is not about just black lives. It's not. That's why I said, look at it quickly, look at it deeply. It involves the LGBTQ community. It's funded by them. Two of the women that founded the organization are part of the community. It's not just about helping black people advance and all. It's not about that. It was never just about that. Has it caused people, has the word Black Lives, the wording, Black Lives listen, has it caused people to think of, see now, see what I'm saying? I'm trying to give you information. This is a fact. This ain't my thought or opinion. This is a fact. It's backed by and based on that particular community. Two of the people who founded it are part of the community. Period.
What community?
That's what it's about.
What community are you talking about?
What we're talking about.
So you're saying
the community we're talking about. That's what BLM was about. That community, that Black lives, those Black lives that are a part of that community matter. Them. That's what that was about. Okay. But again, how we understand or misunderstand political language, we hear the words that we hear, and we put them together based on the definition that we know, not understanding that that's not the way it's being used. It's not what you think it is. You know what these words mean based on how you were taught what they meant. Period. What the movement is don't have shit to do with what you think it is. It's not about that.
So you're saying
that's a fact. Look it up for yourself, and I'm done.
You're saying the movement has changed, because I'm sure that if you were to sit down and talk to a young lady who originally created this whole Black Lives Matter thing and decided to turn it into a movement, did she say that is not? I mean, did she ever come out of her mouth and say she started for reasons other than to fight against racism and the injustice of Black people? Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, why are you saying
Look her
that?
up. Look them up.
I don't know who has joined. I don't know who has joined the Black Lives Matter movement since it first was started. And if you're talking about entities that have joined and have turned it into something other than what it was originally meant to be, then that's one thing. I can't argue against that. But originally, from what I saw from what the young lady was saying, it was because of the injustices that were happening to African Americans. So I don't know what you're saying has grown into. But I'm sorry, Carla, go ahead.
Yeah, man, I just want to say this real quick. Basically, it's one key component that's missing here, and besides, and I knew you had mentioned unity, but there's another component that's missing here, and what that is just to dig in depth into. There's no other how should I say? There's no other excuse needed. You don't want me to come in your store? I buy my own store. You don't want me to come into your chicken house? I get my own chicken house. You don't want me to come in your liquor store? I get my own liquor store. And then what I'm trying to say is human nature. What happens is when you have your own, then other people, regardless, even the ones that you thought that were against you, want to come see what you have going on. Now, if you come in here, it's going to cost you. That's what I'm trying to say. Get your own. You ain't got to worry about being getting approval from the European slave owners, your oppressor or depressor or whatever you want to call them. Your biggest depressor is the mirror that you look in every day. So get your own. Get your own thoughts. Write them down.
Even when you create your own, you're always going to have to go to somebody, millionaire, billionaire, to get something that you need to create. You see from a store. That store, that seed package was created by some type of corporation that's owned by some type of millionaire. Even if you have your own dirt, even when you go to get fertilizer, unless you're creating everything from a farm. You talking about going back to farm state?
Okay, let me give you a real life example. Years ago, I had a cousin of mine from New York. He was like, "Yo, you ought to invest in something that everybody uses every day." I said, "What?" He said, "Think about it, paper." He said, "Don't invest in the toilet paper. Don't invest in the paper napkins. Don't invest in the brands. Invest in the people that make the pan. In other words, invest in the manufacturer. So let them do all the work, and I'll sit back and collect the check." So that's what I'm talking about. Get your own. There's more than one way to skin a cat. It's more than one way to do this thing. It's more money out there than just trying to be some young rapper or trying to be this and that. Look, it's this $1 billion that everybody is spending power that you have. You got your own black bank, One United Bank, which is situated out in California. I want to know how many people got an account in there. Then people say, oh, you still got to be regulated by this, just like what you said. Oh, you still, well, at least you'll get it. Listen, I hail from New York. I'm going to make this real quick. I hail from New York. Right there, as you go into Brighton Beach, in Brooklyn.
Sir, I hate to cut you off. I hate doing that. We definitely, our show is going to end in like 30 seconds. So can we continue this on? Tammy, you got a live going on? You want to continue on your live?
I'm on here.
Okay.
I'm live.
You know how Blog Talk to me. I don't want to cut off in the middle. So we're going to continue on Kimberly McCann live on Facebook. But, so thank you for tuning in, y'all. And we didn't mean to hurt nobody's feelings. We just talking about what we think, how we feel. But, of course, our thoughts and feelings doesn't reflect everybody in the world. Anyway, peace and love to you. Tune in next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, blogtalkradio.com/Patricia. And remember, as always, we unscripted. We keep it real. We do it on purpose. With us.
sure